Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and this one's really cool. This is a behind the scenes of Sergio Menchaca from Texas Sage Forge making a knife. We had discussed during our interview, which I'll put a link below, which I had just done, knife making. And so he decided to have his daughter film him while he forged a knife. And then that knife now we are going to be giving away in a giveaway next week. But I wanted to show you this process. It's about 20 minutes long, the knife forging part. He's hammering away. I didn't cut it too much because I want you to see the process and see how it changes shape as it goes. So first off, you hear a sound, and that sound is the forge. And you'll see him put it back and forth, take it from the forge and put it in the forge. And then he'll actually have some views from it in the forge, which is phenomenal, really cool. Then you'll see his anvil, you'll see his different hammers, and along the way too, he does explain what he's doing, what the process is, what's important about it. And at the end, I have a picture of the finished product. He gives us a tour of his facility. You see the different handles before they're made, and then you actually see tons of knives that he has done. He explains those knives and why they're important and what sets them apart and why he does what he does. Sergio makes fantastic knives. They're all hand done. They're all ugly, as he says, but they're beautiful. The one specifically that he is making and that we will be giving away is a narrow chef's knife forged from a plow disc. He uses a bunch of different types of steel to make his knives. So this is from a plow disc, and the handle is natural Bois D'Arc. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that properly. And Bois D'Arc is the same as Osage Orange, and I might be not pronouncing that properly, but it's in the mulberry family. It's a tree in the mulberry family. But I can't thank Sergio enough for giving this tutorial. If you're into knife making or curious about it, you'll love this. And then below, I'm gonna have links to all the different things that he uses, so that way if you want to go into this yourself and try it out yourself, you can. Thank you so much for watching.
Okay, so I'm going to start out. We're going to forge. This is a piece of plow blade steel. I'm going to forge this into a hidden tang knife. We will see what we get. So you can see where the steel was broken at one point in the ground, and I will take this and form it into a knife. We'll see what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this, I'm going to make this into my stem, so I've got to heat it up first. It is a stormy Texas night, so hopefully we'll be able to get a little progress before we have to start. Now, so the hammer I'm going to use is a Hilltop forge hammer. It's a straight peen. I use this to do a lot of the work. It's a 2.5 pound hammer. It's not very big, and it works well enough. So what we're waiting for here is we're waiting for the steel to get that bright orange heat. You can see part of it where it's getting there. Maybe not. The camera won't let it. In order to do that, I've got to turn the blade around. So I'm going to put what will be the blade part in the forge. Okay, so I'm going to grab the steel out of the forge. It's ready to shape. What I've got to do is I've got to smush this triangle down, shape it into a stem, keeping it flat. right there you can, for me, it's already cold enough, it's not moving like it should, so I'm going to put it back in the forge. Here we go, more stem. As you can see, it's starting to take shape. I'm going to do one more heat, kind of fill it out a little bit here, and it's almost ready. Then I'll start on the blade portion. The third heat, still working on the stem. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to smush it down a little bit more, stretch it out just a tad. There's my stem. I'm going to start working on the blade. This is the second heat on the blade. I'm going to try and get a point forged out. Okay, it's getting cold. I'm going to go back in. I'm not going to bring it to an exact point, so it leaves me a little room to grind if I need to. This is not done at all. We're about to grind the bevels after one more heat. I'm going to hit the spine, hit along the spine. This is this side of the blade to kind of make it shape downward. Then when I form the bevels, it's going to bring it back out. You'll see that. So at this point, I'm going to pull the blade out. I'm going to start shaping that tip of the blade, make it into a more uniform looking type of knife, and then we'll see where we go from there. Here it is. you saw the shape we started with, this is what it's going back into the forge as. Okay, straighten it out, lengthening it. So I think we started at about 3 inches long. Now I think we're about 5.5. I'm gonna put it in one last heat, kind of pull it out, refine the edges, straighten one more time, try and get more of a point to come out, and then we'll see where we're at. Here we are with the rough shape. I'm going to shape it some more. You'll see me use 2 different hammers. I'm using a dog's head to shape the bevel, and I'm using a straight peen to lengthen it out. I let it get too cold on me, so I'm going to put it back in. When I pull it out, I'll straighten it and I'll lengthen it. So that blade is ready to forge. Here we go. So that's the shape. It's still very rough. I'm going to lengthen it out, smooth out the edge here, and try and straighten that curve out on the spine. One last heat, I'm going to straighten it, it'll be good. Okay, here we go. Refining the blade shape. Not too heavy a hit. Trying to get some of those edges to come out flush. Kind of pushing some of that steel around. So here's where we're at. Pretty good little blade shape. It'll be, well, you know what? I need to fix this on the spine. So I'm going to put that in one more time, fix that, and then we'll straighten, and it'll be done. Right now, the blade looks like a blade, like a knife. That's not exactly what I like. It's still too thick. I want to shape it into what will be a good cutter, a good slicer, a good chopper, something that can be used with ease through vegetable, meat, whatever we're going to cook in the kitchen. So notice the spine has gone downward. Next heat, I'll bevel it out. So that's forming that V grind on the V shape of the blade without grinding it. Okay, here we go. What I'm doing is I'm checking to see how straight it is when I extend it, and I see where I need to hit on the blade to make it straighter. And I check the edge. And that's our result. This is going to go cool on the floor. Here's the blade after I cleaned it up a little bit on the grinder and I got the edges right. So I did grind closer to the top so it's more of a traditional instead of so much of a drop. Almost a spear point, but not really. It's still curved towards the belly of the blade. This blade is still untreated, so it's got to go through heat treat. Then it'll be ground a little bit again, shined up. Then I'm going to try and bring out the hamon in it from the heat treat. So this is still a raw blade. This is not anywhere close to being finished. So just showing you the process. Thank you. Just thought of something. Thank you for looking and being interested in my journey. Thank you to Kevin's Barbecue Joints. Thank you to Convenience West Barbecue and everybody who has ever helped me get anywhere. What I want to do is let's do a knife giveaway. I forged this knife out because of some really kind people in barbecue. Let's pay it forward to one of the Kevin's fans. So Kevin, this knife, once it's finished, is coming to you. It's your job to figure out how you're going to give it to your fans. Thank you. So this is the finished piece, forged out. It looks, let's get a ruler. It looks to be there at 0. Still 5.5. Almost 5 3/4. But from something that was 2 to 3 inches long, a piece of what people would call junk steel now is going to be turned into a hard carbon blade. This one will be hidden tang. You can see it's not perfectly straight, but it's pretty close. And you can see that the edge geometry is very steep. And that's just forged finished. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll come in with the grinder and I will clean these edges up, clean this area up, get the edge where it has no bumps in it, and I'll get a pronounced point. That point can either come down to this part and be more of a drop point, or it can come up to this point over here and be more of a traditional style chef looking blade. Either way, this is going to be a slicing blade, a paring blade, whatever you want to call it. Right now it sits right between 1/8 and 1/16 inch thick, and it's just not 1/16, 3/32 and 1/8. So it's pretty thin. I can't get the camera to focus on it, but it's on its way to becoming a good knife. What I try and do is I try and take steel and I try and make it into the best cutting area that I can to make it have the best feel when it goes through medium. When I say medium, whether it be meat or veg, it's going to go through it. And this one is just phenomenal. The slice is just effortless. I really dig these blades, and I'm very pleased with the geometry and how easily they go through medium. Hello, my name is Sergio Menchaca. I make knives. I make knives from reclaimed steel, and I forge every blade that I make. It has been a journey to learn how to make knives and to begin making knives that somebody appreciated. So thank you for your interest, and here's some of what I do. These are some blanks from Gulf Coast Blanks that just came in today. The way I get them is this. Look at that. That's just beautiful. I'm not a shiny guy, so this will probably be attached with the dull side, and then this will be ground away to where it is a matte finish. As you can see, most of my blades, yeah, they do look I think they look awesome, but the handles are just a part of them. I believe that when you take a piece of wood and a piece of steel from the area that has been laying on the ground or on a farm for, let's say, 60 to 100 and something years, then you take it and shape it into a usable tool, and you pair it with wood from the area. I don't know if I can get that to be seen, but I think that is the purest form of a knife that you can get. And it's part of the land, it's part of the history, and it's just an amazing tool. I do use a lot of old stuff. There's some pecan right there, some different handles, more handles up here. I have a lot of handles. This is wood. This is pecan. That's oak. I use old pizza boxes as my cutting area. More handles. This is curly maple. Some maple. And then oak. Those are specialized handles. And Osage Orange. Just amazing. So I was given a plow tine over a year and something ago, and I've just been waiting to do something with it. Well, I forged it out pretty thin into what I call the tomatero, and just a really thin, fun little chef's blade, little slicer. It's about 7 inches long with an Osage Orange handle, just light and quick as the dickens. It's gonna slice what you need, and it's got a pretty pronounced hamon on it. This is one of those blades that I'm just very proud of, just because it's such a cool little fit. This is Chopzilla. Chopzilla was originally designed for Robert Sierra. Robert has a much bigger Chopzilla, but this is Chopzilla. It is made from a plow blade, and you can see it's got so much character in it. But it is 3/16 inch thick, and It's a great chopper, dressed in lacy sycamore from Gulf Coast Blanks. Amazing wood, amazing feel. Everybody asks about this one. This one is the cleaver or clip point cleaver that everybody asks for. Okay, so some of y'all who know me, I really love the state of Texas, and I try and get blades that have more of the state of Texas. Most of my steel is from Texas. I do have steel that's from other places. If people ask for certain steels, I try and accommodate. But most of the time, the steel's from Texas. So that being said, this blade is prickly pear fiber in resin, and that looks like some muscadine grape wood right there. It is dressed on probably a 6 to 7 inch chef, but as you can see, those are hammer marks. That was hammered out of hot steel. So this is what I do. This is a Osage Orange Nakiri. This blade is very indicative of what I do. So everything I do, if it's imperfect, that's because I shake a lot. I'm old and I shake a lot. This one has one of the best handles I've ever made. It just feels great in the hand, but it is very asymmetrical. So it's not the production piece that everybody can buy at the store. This is something that is special going to be for somebody. So yeah, one of those very close to the Texas earth pieces. The rasp, I get my rasp from a North Texas farrier who works in North Texas. His rasps are very good steel, and I have many of my knives that are made out of that steel. So this is my shop. You'll see I use a lot of old boxes, old containers to hold things. Here are some knives that are finished and waiting to be shipped out or waiting to be purchased. This is where I put on handles. I share the space with my daughter, who's an artist. So she uses pretty much the same stuff I do. Here's a small grinder. I keep a collection of old boxes so that I can make sheaths and quick sheaths to send and ship knives out. Here's some firewood that we needed during our snowtastrophe. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the main machine, the workhorse, the Ameribraid 2x72 grinder. I nicknamed this one Joan Crawford because she's mean. This is my smaller grinder that I use to grind handles. It doesn't have as aggressive motor to it, so I do use that one a lot. This is my main anvil. This is my secondary anvil, my quench area, and my photo stump that I use to take pictures on. I have a lot of steel over here that's waiting to be used. I have some plow disc cut up, ready to be used there. These are some tongs that I use, and this is where I use my ferric chloride, Danish oil, and baking soda bath with Windex neutralizes that base. These are some handles that just came in today from Gulf Coast Blanks. Have you ever wondered how to sharpen a knife? This is what I use most of the time. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust to the camera. This is one of my chef's knives, a little slicer. When I say a little, it's about a hair over 8 inches long. So I would take this blade and put it down here and guide this upward. I start with the gray end. This is a buffing compound on the strop. Do this motion. Notice I'm not acting like I'm cutting the strop. I'm going with the blade, with the edge, right here. And this, I have found, produces a razor sharp edge very quickly. I love carbon steel because if I'm in the field and it gets dull, I can sharpen on a piece of concrete if I need to. I can then later work and get it back to that razor edge. But carbon steel takes a good edge and a fast edge. That's why I choose to work with carbon steel. So when I say I don't make shiny knives and my knives are ugly, what I'm portraying is the fact that most of the time my knives do not see a higher grit than 120. With that being said, you're not going to get a mirror polish with my blades. You're not going to get the real silvery, shiny knife. I do love how when I edge quench the blade, the natural hamon in that carbon steel pops out with just a little bit of ferric chloride, and then you wipe it off and it stays there for the life of the knife. That use and the patina that is formed on a carbon steel blade, to me, are the beauties of using a carbon steel blade. You're going to pull out a knife that has indicators of its use, of its life, of its past life, and just people are going to say, man, tell me about that blade. That looks amazing.